Rangers fans across the country have been feeling a mixture of frustration and concern after the most recent performance, a match that once again opened the door to debate about the team's defensive standards. It has become a recurring theme this season, but the latest outing has pushed the conversation into sharper focus, especially after one of the club's former favourites delivered a brutally honest assessment that spread quickly among supporters. Coming off the back of matches where small errors have turned into big problems, the pressure is mounting at a moment when the fixture list leaves very little room for hesitation, let alone repeated mistakes. The talking points grew even louder following the dramatic draw with Dundee United, a match that showcased both flashes of improvement and moments Rangers will want to forget as soon as possible. Danny Rowe made his feelings known after the final whistle, particularly regarding the corner that led to Dundee United's second goal. His frustration was clear as he pointed out what he saw as an obvious offside position in the build-up, insisting that the phase of play should never have been allowed to continue. He did not hide behind excuses, admitting that the team still had plenty of work to do, but he stood firm in saying that this specific moment was avoidable. At the same time, he highlighted that parts of the performance were far closer to what he expects from his squad, even if a proper step forward will only come when the team pairs improvement with 3 points. Before the match, the head coach had already raised eyebrows by making 3 changes to his starting lineup, bringing in Jayden Magom, Danilo, and JD Gassama. It was a blend of tactical adjustment and the need for fresh legs in what has been an intense period. Rowe explained that the decision came from a mixture of factors, including load management, individual growth, and the need to respond to the demands presented by each opponent. Even with the rotation, he emphasized the importance of the entire squad, noting that every player will be needed if Rangers are to overcome the challenges of the coming weeks. The main controversy of the evening, however, was not about who started or who was left out. It came down to a painful defensive moment that turned a promising spell into another setback. Rangers had looked lively after the break, pressing with more intensity and creating opportunities that hinted at a potential comeback. Just as belief began to return, the match flipped on its head when Amar Fatal waltzed through several soft challenges before placing a composed finish beyond the goalkeeper. The disappointment was immediate, not only because the goal came at a crucial juncture, but because it felt completely preventable. The corner that preceded it should have been cleared long before the ball fell kindly for Dundee United to continue the attack, leaving Rangers players looking around in disbelief. As the home crowd roared, the defensive unit found itself under scrutiny once more, with supporters and pundits alike pointing out moments where stronger conviction and greater organization could have made all the difference. Although Jayden Magom showed flashes of promise, the wider story was a backline that looked stretched, reactive, and second best to almost every loose ball. That concern was amplified when Neil McCann, watching the match back for the weekend analysis program, tore into the collective, defending with the sort of blunt honesty that only a former player can deliver. His criticism touched on weak challenges, lack of pressure on the ball, and an overall absence of determination in vital moments. His words echoed the frustrations many fans had already been expressing, adding even more weight to the argument that changes may be necessary. The situation becomes even more delicate when considering the current league table. With the gap to the top now sitting at 9 points and Rangers stuck in fourth place. The consequences of recent draws are becoming far more serious. Momentum has been elusive, and defensive issues are eating away at confidence across the squad. Every time an opponent pushes forward with purpose, Rangers seem vulnerable, often unable to deal with situations that should be routine. This constant instability forces the forwards to chase matches rather than build from a foundation of control, meaning any attacking progress is undermined by defensive lapses that keep dragging the team backwards. As the pressure mounts, difficult decisions loom over the coaching staff. Persisting with the same defensive unit carries clear risks, and the upcoming visit of Kilmarnock to Ibrox only intensifies the urgency. Changes may be unavoidable, even if that means dropping experienced figures or turning to younger options in the short term. With the January window approaching, but not yet here, Rangers must find internal solutions quickly if they want to maintain any realistic hope of climbing back into the title conversation. Performances like the one at Tannadice have created more questions than answers, and the response in the next fixtures will reveal whether this team can steady itself or continue slipping further behind. While the focus has been on the defensive struggles, there is another developing storyline that could affect the squad in the coming weeks. Two important players, Nasser Jagger and Mohamed Diamande, are set to leave for international duty later in the month as they prepare to represent Burkina Faso and Ivory Coast in the Africa Cup of Nations. The competition will take place in Morocco and run from Sunday, the 21st of December, 2025, until Sunday, the 18th of January, 2026. A recently confirmed rule change from FIFA means that clubs are no longer required to release players as early as before, giving Rangers a small boost in terms of availability. Under previous rules, players would have left immediately after the first weekend of December, but with the updated regulations, they can remain with their clubs until Monday, the 15th of December. This adjustment means both players will be available for the Europa League away match against Ferencvaros on Thursday, the 11th of December, a match they might have otherwise missed. As the calendar edges closer to the international break that will take two key midfield figures away, the coaching staff already understands the magnitude of the challenge awaiting them. Losing Nasser Jagger and Mohamed Diamande at the same time will inevitably stretch the depth of the midfield, an area that has been essential in keeping Rangers competitive. Even when results have fallen short of expectations, both players bring energy, physical presence, and the sort of box-to-box influence that helps stabilize the team in tense moments. Their departure, even for a few weeks, will create a gap that others must attempt to fill, forcing the staff to consider tactical adjustments, altered roles, and perhaps an opportunity for emerging players who have been waiting for their moment. For now, though, the attention remains firmly on the immediate fixtures, where every point carries increasing weight. The sense of urgency permeating Ibrox is unavoidable, not only because of the league position, but because the performances have been inconsistent in ways that frustrate both staff and supporters. There have been brief flashes of what the team can be, stretches where the passing looks sharp, the pressing coordinated, and the movement purposeful. Yet, these moments have not been enough to mask the defensive uncertainties that continue to crop up at the worst possible times. Each transition seems to expose the back line, and each concession of a soft goal undoes long passages of promising play. It creates a cycle where the team appears stuck between progress and regression, never fully committing to one direction, but constantly hovering between the two. Inside the dressing room, the mood is described as determined rather than defeated. Players are aware of the expectation that surrounds the club and the frustration that grows with every missed opportunity. Despite the pressure, there is a belief among the group that the current issues can be fixed through renewed focus and more aggressive decision-making on the pitch. The coaching staff, too, continues to reinforce the message that the problems are not beyond repair. Training sessions have taken on an edge in recent days, with particular emphasis on defensive organization, reaction speed, and clarity in communication. It is clear that the team is working to address the issues exposed against Dundee United, but the real test will come in how these adjustments translate once the next whistle blows. The upcoming match at Ibrox is being viewed as a chance to reset the tone of the season. The supporters will come expecting a reaction, and the players know they cannot afford another hesitant start or another moment where poor defending undoes their hard work. The stadium has always been a place where Rangers can reassert themselves, and many inside the club hope that returning home will bring a sense of calm and confidence back into the squad. Still, the margin for error has shrunk considerably. With the gap at the top widening, Rangers must string together wins rather than settling for draws that leave the team stuck in the same position week after week. Despite the defensive uncertainties, one of the bright spots in recent performances has been the growing influence of younger players who have shown both bravery and composure. Jayden McGome, in particular, has displayed maturity beyond his years, stepping into the left-back role with confidence and contributing both defensively and in the build-up. His willingness to take responsibility on the ball and press aggressively off it has earned him the trust of teammates. If the defensive reshuffle becomes necessary, McGome may find himself even more central to the plans in the coming weeks. It is a reminder that while experience is valuable, hunger and energy often provide the spark needed during difficult periods. Still, even with emerging talents providing positive moments, the wider concerns cannot be ignored. Rangers have been second best too often in key phases, especially when defending set pieces or reacting to second balls. The willingness to compete with full conviction has fluctuated, and in a league where fine margins dictate outcomes, any hesitation becomes costly. Neil McCann's harsh analysis echoed what many supporters felt, that the team's defensive approach has been too passive, too reactive, and lacking the fire required to dominate their box. His criticism may have stung, but it also reflects a standard that those associated with the club believe should never be compromised. The expectation at Rangers has always been built on resilience, structure, and pride in defending every blade of grass, and regaining that mentality is essential if the season is to be rescued. Away from the pitch, the staff has also been monitoring the physical demands on players, particularly as the schedule continues to tighten. Fatigue has already influenced some selection decisions, and with multiple competitions overlapping, the risk of injury grows. This is one of the reasons why rotation has become more prominent in recent matches. Some fans have questioned these decisions, but from the coaching staff's perspective, managing fitness is not optional. It is a necessity, especially with the winter period approaching, when matches arrive thick and fast. The loss of Jagger and Diamande to international duty only adds to the challenge, forcing the staff to consider squad balance more carefully than ever. Attention has also turned toward the January window, even if it remains some distance away. Discussions are ongoing behind closed doors about what areas require reinforcement and what type of players might fit the system Rowe is building. While supporters hope for decisive moves, the reality is that the team must navigate several crucial matches before any new signings can be introduced. The current group must be the ones to steady the ship, and they know the responsibility lies on their shoulders. The club's ambition is to challenge for honours, and slipping too far behind before the new year would make that objective far more difficult. In the midst of this pressure, experienced figures inside the dressing room are being called upon to lift the standards. Leadership has always been vital during challenging periods, and Rangers need their senior players to set the tone, whether it is commanding the back line, controlling the midfield, or guiding younger teammates through high-pressure moments. These voices can make the difference between another disappointing draw and a much-needed victory. The coming weeks will reveal whether this leadership emerges consistently enough to influence results. Supporters, for their part, continue to show their loyalty even as frustration grows. The sense of connection between the fans and the team remains strong, and many recognize that part of supporting a club is sticking with it through moments of turbulence. Yet loyalty does not erase expectation. The hope is that the players respond with the same energy the fans bring, particularly at Ibrox, where the roar of the crowd has so often propelled the team to performances far beyond what form alone might suggest. Before we continue, make sure to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications to get all the exclusive news about Rangers FC. Don't overlook any details about your beloved team. It's crucial for Rangers FC fans. A storm is rumbling through Govan, and the whispers echoing around Ibrox this morning are nothing short of explosive. Word drifting out of the Rangers camp suggests Nicolas Raskin has flat out refused to share the pitch again with a certain teammate, sending shockwaves through the dressing room and leaving supporters wondering what on earth is unfolding behind closed doors. The club is saying nothing official, of course, but the murmurings are growing louder by the hour, and the sense of unease is impossible to ignore. Those close to the squad hint at a training ground exchange that went far beyond the usual competitive bite. Raskin, never shy about speaking his mind, is said to have stormed off, leaving staff scrambling to smooth things over. Yet the Belgian midfielder's stance reportedly remains firm, and there's a feeling that this time the damage might not be easily patched up. The mood around Auchenhowie is described as tense, with players keeping their heads down and trying not to get caught in the crossfire. Supporters, meanwhile, are left to piece together fragments of information, each rumor adding fuel to the fire. Some insist it's simply a clash of personalities, the sort that happens in any squad. Others whisper of deeper disagreements, ones that could force the club to make a decisive move before the unrest spills onto the pitch. Whatever the truth, the timing couldn't be worse for a side craving stability. Inside Ibrox, corridors that usually buzz with routine now hum with uncertainty. Coaches are said to be working overtime to bring calm, yet the sense of a brewing crisis is hard to shake. For now, all anyone knows for certain is that Nicolas Raskin has drawn a line, and unless someone finds a way to rub it out, Rangers may be facing a headache far bigger than a simple falling out between teammates. Greetings, fans. Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel, as it's greatly appreciated by Rangers FC. And don't forget to share your thoughts on the news in the comments section below. Until the next video, stay tuned